All right, boys, welcome back to the second quarter. I'm Jacob Eichenlob. This is Dalton Carty, and we're going to get into our conference championship predictions for the weekend. Both games are on Sunday, so we got Saturday to tailgate and pregame if you're into that. So let's get into it. The first game is going to be at 3. It's going to be Cincinnati at Kansas City. Who you got winning?
I'm going to have a 24-35 finish. Kansas City covering the -7. They played earlier in the year. They didn't cover Jamar Chase in this one. I think that they're going to have to. So my key to success for the Bengals is Joe Burrow needs to keep attacking that secondary. It's pretty weak. And the Bengals' number one priority needs to be to keep him protected. 9 sacks in the last game. That front for the Kansas City Chiefs obviously isn't very weak. This team is very good. Mahomes won't make mistakes like Ryan Tannehill did. So you have to keep Burrow protected because they can't capitalize. They're not going to be able to capitalize on the mistakes like they did before.
Yeah. Definitely, in my opinion, the biggest X factor in this game is going to be the Bengals O Line, and for the Chiefs, it's probably going to end up being like Byron Pringle or Demarcus Robinson because they're obviously going to cover Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, or at least going to try to. I know everyone on Twitter right now is hoping Eli Apple gets torched. So I mean, I feel like Eli Apple has that Darrelle Revis on the Jets mentality. Like he just shit on like 4 fan bases in the last week because he's done nothing all year.
I know the Saints are rooting for.
I know.
Saints fans are.
I'm pretty sure everyone is rooting for the Chiefs just because of Eli Apple. Like,
it's hard not to root against Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean both of these teams have someone as a reason for you to root against them. The Bengals have Eli Apple and the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes' whole family. So.
Chiefs need to keep Jamar Chase in check. Obviously, they didn't last game, 266 yards. They can't let big plays happen. The secondary needs to cover the receivers, make sure Tyreek Hill and Tyler Boyd aren't getting away. They need to force Joe Mixon to run the ball because he hasn't been very great these past few games. Obviously, only 54 yards in his last game. Offensive side, the Bengals secondary isn't strong, so they need to keep Kelce and Hill involved and then target Pringle in the end zone. Mahomes is just going to torch this defense.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also rocking with the Chiefs, 38-21. I'm not saying it's impossible for the Bengals to win. The Chiefs' only loss since starting off 3-4 was at the hands of the Bengals in Cincinnati. This should be a good game, but I got the Chiefs 38-21. Bengals could definitely pull it out, though.
Yeah,
absolutely. Obviously, the second game is going to be at 6:30 on Sunday. The Niners head to LA and SoFi Stadium to play the Rams for the 3rd time this year. So far, the Niners have won both games, and we know how hard it is to sweep a division opponent when you play them in the playoffs. There's many different outcomes that could result in this game. I feel like it's going to be a low-scoring defensive, like classic NFC West battle, or it's going to be high-scoring. And if it's high-scoring, you got to go with the Rams. But if it's low-scoring, the Niners defense had to have done something crazy, and I got to go with the Niners on that. In that note,
really.
But I'm taking the Niners 24-17. I know, it's nearly impossible to sweep a division opponent, but I think the Niners are going to win and give us a rematch of Super Bowl 54.
I think the Rams are going to take it 21-32. I'm going to take the Rams -3.5. I'm picking the favorites for both of these games. The 49ers, the defense wins games, and that's what they're going to need here. They're going to need Nick Bosa to really get pressure on Matthew Stafford and force him to make mistakes. They need to find a way to keep Cooper Kupp in check along with Odell Beckham and Higbee. Make Michelle and Akers beat you on the ground. Their run game is kind of hit or miss sometimes, but their pass game definitely is there. As long as you can force Matthew Stafford to make mistakes by getting pressure and force them to run the ball, I think you got a good chance because you have Aaron Donald and Von Miller covering up those gaps. Yeah,
definitely. This should be a great game. There's going to be a lot of emotions. Trip to the Super Bowl on the line, obviously, but division rivals. I've rocked with the Niners the whole playoffs. They haven't let me down yet. Them and the Chiefs are the only 2 teams that have not let me down that I bet on. So I'm rocking with the Niners. I know it's kind of a crazy choice being that they're a 6th seed and betting them to make the Super Bowl. But 2 years ago they made the Super Bowl, and the only reason they didn't compete last year is because they had a bunch of injuries. So I just feel like I got to go with the Niners here.
Yep, Niners are a very good football team. I just think it's going to be so hard to take them 3 straight games, especially in the playoffs. The Rams have an all or nothing kind of mentality when it's to making the Super Bowl. Yeah. They have a great defense. Their offense is a little shaky sometimes depending on if Matthew Stafford makes mistakes or not. But I think Matthew Stafford's going to keep it under control with a Super Bowl on the line here. Sean McVay's got that coaching experience. He's been in the NFC Championship game before. He's going to take him to the Super Bowl, and I think it's going to be a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl.
Matthew Stafford is honestly the X factor of this game, in my
Really
opinion.
is.
He
Really
makes
is.
so many mistakes. He is just
He just can't make mistakes. If he doesn't make mistakes, they are going to go here.
he is prone to making mistakes. I mean, like what happened in Week 18 against the Niners to give the Niners a playoff spot. That interception
two
on that
picks
on
that
that
game.
underthrow to OBJ when Ambry Thomas picked it off. That's just who Matthew Stafford is. He was underrated in Detroit, but now that he's out, he's overrated. There's no other way to put it, in my opinion. He makes too many mistakes to be an elite quarterback. He's good. He might be great, but he's nowhere near elite.
All right, so that's going to conclude our conference championship predictions. So tune into our next episode where we talk about who's going where with the quarterback controversies and everything going on there. So we'll